next speaker, Daniel Usera. The place is here, the time is now. The place is here, the time is now. Daniel Usera.
I want everyone to take a moment and think of something that you've always wanted to do in your life, but you haven't yet. Maybe it's something on your bucket list. Maybe it's that exotic trip to Europe, or wing walking, or maybe it's something with your career, starting that business or asking for that raise, or really anything that you know would make you happy. Now, by show of hands, how many of you have told yourselves something along the lines of some other time? Show of hands, show of hands. Okay? Maybe it's come in variations like, I'll do this when I have more training, or I'll do this when I feel more comfortable with my work, or better yet, I'll do this when I have enough time. So again, how many of you? Show of hands. Okay, a lot of you. Now you might have heard a wise saying, like, patience is a virtue, or good things come to those who wait. Well, today, I'm here to provide the other side of that argument. I'm here to tell you that when it comes to your success and overall happiness, the place is here and the time is now. I still remember when I first heard the word Toastmaster. It was May 18th, 2014, and I was at my graduation party. My Uncle Munch, a very charismatic communicator with a black belt in jiu-jitsu, just randomly came up to me and said, "Daniel, you should become a Toastmaster." At first, I thought he was telling me to become a chef. But upon further elaboration and being put into a verbal, figurative, triangular chokehold, I submitted and said okay. Now, don't tell my uncle this, but I actually didn't go to my first meeting until about 5 months later. You see, I had told myself that I needed to get settled into my apartment first. But when I went to my first meeting, I had a good time. And when the VP of recruitment came up to me and asked me if I'd like to join the club, I hesitated at the prospect of committing myself to something. So I told her and I told myself, now's not the time, I need to get settled into my job first. So you know what I did for 2 years? I went to different Toastmasters clubs as a perpetual guest. I would go to one club for a while, and then when they got a little too attached to me, I would quit going to that club, and then go to another club. I was hitting the clubs, and I was quitting the clubs. Or as Tupac Shakur would say, I was living the player's life. But when I finally decided to settle down and join Camarillo Evening Toastmasters, the delays didn't stop. I noticed that the club had these contests, and I would watch people be very successful at them. And I would tell myself, hey, I can do that. But then when the calls for contestants would come out, I would tell myself, well, now's not the time. I need to get a little better first. I need to research a topic. I need to make sure I have enough time. I need to make sure my apartment's clean. I need to make sure my astrological signs and symbols are perfectly aligned. The Kansas City Chiefs just need to win a home playoff game first. And I wasn't just doing it with Toastmasters. I've been wanting to write a book, but I told myself now's not the time. I've been wanting to get into professional speaking, but I told myself now's not the time. I've been conditionalizing my entire success and happiness my whole life by telling myself now's not the time. And you know what I realized one day, just on a long hike? This whole patience is a virtue thing wasn't really about strategy at all. It was about fear. You see, I'm a college professor. My job is to try to rationalize things that typically don't make sense. And instead of just admitting that the reason I didn't want to join a Toastmasters club is because I'm afraid of commitment, or that the reason I don't want to write my book is because I'm afraid of it failing, or even the reason that I'm afraid of entering these I didn't enter these contests because I'm afraid of losing, I used patience and strategy and virtue and timing as these higher level security blankets that covered the real cause of my inaction: fear. And I've wasted so much time and potential doing this. And fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, I don't want you to waste yours. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're about to cross the street and you look both ways, and you see a bus coming, it's probably a good idea to wait for the bus to pass by first. But if you realize that the reason that you're not acting is because of fear, there is a way out. The key is to believe that no task is too small to start. Accomplishing a goal is like writing a book. You start by just writing one sentence. Sure, it's just one sentence. But what is a book other than a series of sentences? And then once you write one sentence, then you'll write another sentence, and then another sentence. And then soon you'll have one paragraph, 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, then a whole chapter, then eventually a whole publication. And as you complete each small task, you realize that you're taking the best possible course of action to combat fear. Doing it anyway. Brick by brick, stone by stone, you begin to dismantle the walls of fear and procrastination that lie between you and your success. And as that wall comes crumbling down, you realize that the sky is the potential.